All right, guys, I'm going to give you a little hint of where we're going today. They do wear bunny ears here. So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean. All right, guys, so it's a Saturday morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning in September 2021. So if you see people with masks on, you'll understand why they're wearing a mask. And we are at Sebring. This is right here. This is the winner's circle. You would come in here, they open the gate up, you bring it in. This is where they've been giving trophies here since the 1960s and 50s. So Sebring is built on the old airport that was here during World War II. And SCCA, Sports Car Club of America, is the group where you can come and you can race any kind of car that you have. There's a vintage, look at that. There's different classes, so no matter how much you want to spend, be it a couple thousand or a couple million, you can do it. You can be racing today. So if this is something you thought of doing, even if you don't own a car, you can come and just borrow a car. So if you want to borrow a car, learn how to race, get your little certificate, it's a great fun way to spend an afternoon or a weekend.
We offer arrive and drive services.
If someone shows up, you can come. If you don't have a car, learn how to drive, get your license.
I can teach you how to drive a manual, and I can teach you how to drive at the front of this pack.
And get certified, because most people don't realize that there is certifications by car types and
there's like a stepping stone.
All right, so we're going up over the bridge to Sebring Racetrack, and today is Vintage Racing Day. This is part of the track here. You'll see cars coming up and going around. Those are the open-wheeled cars down there. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around, look at the different types of race teams that are here. So it doesn't matter what you have in your bank account, what kind of car you wanna do, how fast you wanna go or anything else. This is SCCA, it's made for amateurs. You can call yourself professional, but it's made for amateurs. All right, so as I said to you guys before, you don't really need to have anything special. And if we look at some of these cars here, you've got Miatas, you've got Hondas, Mazdas, you've got some BMWs. So this class is getting ready to go up. As you can see, like some cars, they have no sponsors, they're just a fun car. Other ones you look at, they may have full sponsorship, like this one right here, this Mazda right here. So they line everybody up. One of the things that you have to do when you bring your car is you're going to have to go through tech. And tech inspection, you can always find, they tell you way in advance what you need to do. There's no surprises, but just like NASCAR, you're gonna have to do a tech inspection. So be prepared for that. Go take a look at it, make sure your car does it. One of the things that is going to be really, really key is brakes. They want to make sure that your car's safe, nothing coming off, no leaks, that it has good brakes. So we're going to watch this class here. They're going to go. So we've got, like I said, you got a lot of the RX-7s. You've got a lot of Miatas. Miatas are big in SCCA. They're cheap. They're easy to work on. They're cheap to get, and there's a ton of parts for them, so it's real easy to work on. You got a CRX over there, a couple BMWs over here, so we'll watch them, and we'll watch them as they go around the track for a bit. So you'll see they all line up and go around once. There's time earlier in the day where you can walk the track, so that way you have an idea of what it is, where the bumps are. One thing about Sebring it's a really bumpy track. It really, unfortunately, is a lot of concrete and it's bumpy. So if you're used to a really smooth track, this is not a really smooth track. But this is one of the biggest classes because a lot of people race Miatas. Some weekend, you can build one of these cars for under $2,500. The whistle means start your engines. Everybody gives a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Everybody has to put your hand out the window to give a thumbs up so they know. And then the starter will let the first line go. Hi, I'm Sean. And
Jerry.
Jerry?
Yeah.
And Jerry, you're the owner?
Owner, crew chief, builder,
and
jack of all trades.
Where are you out of? What state?
We're from Florida.
You're from Florida? Okay. So this is obviously, like probably was for me, just fun?
Yeah.
How long you been involved with racing SCCA?
Oh, back 1963 when I first started.
Oh, wow.
And then I took about an 18-year break and came back and started back in 85 again.
Okay. And were you driving as well as building, or were you always...
No, I've always driven. During that 18-year break, I built cars,
okay,
but I wasn't a driver.
Okay.
But now I'm driver, chief bottle washer.
And this is a driver of this car?
Yeah, that's my son.
Okay. And how long have you been driving as well? Like since you can remember, or?
Yeah, since about 1996 is when I got my race car license. Yep.
Okay. Did you start in go-karts or anything before that, or?
We had our own go-kart that we used to run around abandoned gas stations, and
okay,
that was a lot of fun. And then I started crewing for my brother and my father, and they said, "You want to try this?" And I got the bug, and unfortunately now it's my new money pit, but it's been a lot of fun.
I always tell people, if you want to keep your kids off drugs, put them in racing. They'll have no money for drugs.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
So tell me a little bit about the car, because it's like, it might not have been a classic when you started with it, but it's definitely a classic now. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Now it's a 79 Datsun 210. We built this car back in 1990.
1990. So back then it was just a used car.
It was just a
now
used,
it's a classic.
Now it's a classic, and it's it's painted in the BRE paint scheme, and but it's a 1500cc motor, and of course with IT you're allowed a modified carburetor and headers and some limited modifications to the suspension.
Right.
Other than that, it's a stock car.
So this would be for somebody like who's watching this, who's never been in this, maybe somebody who's just retired or something and wants to not tear apart their 70 Chevelle they've been driving to car shows.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a competition car they could get into pretty easily.
This car is real cheap to run. I can run 2 years on a set of tires.
Oh wow.
I can run 3 years on a set of brake pads. So the biggest expense is gas for the race car.
and the car, something like this, is not that expensive, and
no,
probably the modifications aren't.
It's very limited what you can do, so there's not a whole lot of money that you can spend developing the car, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's very simple to work on. And this car is, I can take a motor that's disassembled on the bench, put the motor together, put it in the car, and having running in the same day.
Wow.
So it's very simple, and it's a lot of fun. I've got some other cars. I've got a GT Light car, which is a tube chassis, fiberglass body.
Right.
Very expensive. But this one is just a lot of fun.
And proof in the pudding that it keeps families together.
Oh yes,
it's a great way.
My wife, my son, and I mean, we race here in Daytona, and go up to Roebling Road. Have gone as far north as Summit Point,
okay,
in Virginia. So we do a little bit of traveling, have a little bit of fun.
There you go. So, and you're not got to worry about it if it gets a little dent here or there, a little scratch. Just get some spray paint from Walmart and
there you go.
Match the paint, right?
Yeah.
So how do you like driving this?
Love it.
And is this the main one that you drive?
Yes.
And without giving away any of your secrets so that rivals can't catch you, about speed range that you're out there driving on, even though we know Sebring's a bumpy track.
Yeah, it'll knock the fillings
Yeah,
out.
it's not like, it's not Daytona.
Top speed on this course is probably about 105 to 110 miles an hour.
And here with the turns, you're probably going between 50 and 85, 90, except for a couple straightaways.
Range, depending on the turn and how tight it is and how much traffic you're encountering the whole time as well.
And what's the safety equipment that you require for something in this class?
Got a roll cage,
Fire system.
a fire system,
Signature in the back there.
Right. Cutoff switch, obviously.
Battery cutoff switch and all that. Just your basic.
Now, you need a Hans device?
We have, that's mandatory now.
And with the new helmets, the helmets are new a couple years ago. But
5-point safety harness.
And 5-point safety, right?
Okay.
But it's basic. It's not a lot of money spent. I mean, the biggest money spent in building the car is the roll cage.
Yeah. So if you know how to weld and take your car apart,
a lot of labor.
If you can, you'll spend as much for the roll cage or more for the roll cage than you pay for the car. But that's a major safety factor, and I'm glad that they require what they do.
Right. And so something like this, when you get an older car like this, have you ever had to find a fender or something like that? And, and that's probably the hardest part of this car is finding the parts, right?
Pan around to the front over here. Two years ago at Sebring, I crashed into turn 17 and wiped out this whole front quarter panel. And all the suspension and everything was completely destroyed. So he had to rebuild this entire
clip
section.
From here to here, this whole section is new.
Oh, okay. And how hard is it to get? Because this is a Datsun. This isn't even Nissan.
No, this is
Datsun.
This is pre-Nissan.
So how hard is it? Do you guys have a couple of these? Like if you see one somewhere, do you just grab it? Is that kind of what you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're getting harder and harder to find, but they are so simple and so easy to fix.
And it's obviously not a NASCAR engine, so it's not something. If you got somebody you want to help with your grandson project, to get it done, or a great son project.
I mean,
or daughter.
This motor, with what we can do to it, about 95 horsepower is all we get out of it.
There you go.
It was 71 horsepower stock, and with the stuff we can do, we got it up to 95.
A 671 blower probably costs more than this whole motor does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's awesome. It's awesome, guys. I appreciate it so much.
Okay.
So thanks. Hey guys, I'm over here with Hoosier tires, and they are the tires I used to race and use on my Mustang before my wreck, and they're the ones we used to use on the Panots when I was racing Panots. And I'm here with 3 of the guys that are here to support everybody racing today. So tell me a little bit more about tires, why you guys are here, and tell me a little bit about Hoosier tires.
Well, we're the Appalachian Race Tires Inc. We are the Southeast distributor for Hoosier. We service all of the SCCA events in the Southeast, as well as NASA and PCA. A lot of spec classes run Hoosier tires, and they're keeping us pretty busy this weekend.
So for those, I got a lot of viewers that maybe have never brought their car. I've got a bunch of them that have. They might have a Superbird in their garage and it's only been a lawn ornament, or they may just have bought their first car, or they might want to get into this. What's it that, why should they get coming, if they're coming to an event like this, why should they get like tires like you guys have and not just street tires?
Well, these tires were designed specifically for what you see here, for racing. Designed for champions. We have probably 15 of the national championships in just about every year.
And so it's like the rubber compounds are different?
Yeah, everything specifically designed for road racing or autocross.
So if somebody's used to, like if they've taken their 69 Camaro to the drag strip.
We got tires for that too.
You do, I know that. But if they come here, they probably don't want to use those.
Right, no, they're gonna need an entirely different compound.
And is it and are the sidewalls different here than a standard tire? Like
the construction is definitely different than what you would buy out of a Firestone dealer and out in the public.
And you don't want to drive these on the street.
No,
obviously,
absolutely no.
Because there's no tread on them.
They will be chewed up.
They'll be gone really quick.
They're not designed to drive on the street. They're designed to get hot quick, get sticky.
Now, is there anything special about the rims that they need? Like can they just bring their rims from home and these can be put on a rim? Or?
Most of the time, unless the class is specific.
Right.
But certain classes have a specified rim they have to run.
The higher end classes. But if you're somebody here that's just coming over first time doing rally and you want to bring these in, they can just bring their rims that they bought it wherever.
Absolutely.
And have them put on.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, and your first name?
Chris.
Chris. Hey, Chris. I'm Sean. Appreciate it. So give a little information to these guys. See, it's not scary, guys. Even if you've never bought race tires before, it's not scary. So, and they see, look at that. They're putting them on right here. They're bringing over some rims just to put them on. They can get chewed up pretty quick depending on the weight of your car. So if you got like a pretty heavy car, you're gonna chew them up a little bit more than these little lightweight open wheel things that are going around.
Absolutely.
But for safety's sake, you get the grip. If you ever race a road race with racing tires on and then you do it without them, no one will have to ever tell you why. So thank you guys. So appreciate all you do.
Are you okay?
Got no clutch.
Got no clutch.
People have never done this before. You probably have. So trackside Tim. So here's the thing, for you guys who are new and this is your first time seeing this, like we just talked to the tire guys, if you come here, there's things you're going to need if you've never been here before. So
usually you'll forget something from the last time you were here.
Or you left something somewhere, or you lost something. So you're gonna need suit, you're gonna need a suit, you're gonna need other safety things, your little booties, you're gonna need gloves, helmets, a Hans device is something you're gonna need depending on what class you're in. So there are vendors here, so I don't want you to be afraid and go, you know what, I want to go, but I don't even own a suit, or I don't own this, or I don't own that. There are guys like Tim at tracksidettim.com that you can buy the stuff while you're here, or if you lose it, if you go to the bathroom and all of a sudden your gloves, you're missing your left glove because it fell out of something, you can get that. Helmets, you can't just use any helmet. They always have to be an SCCA or SCCA approved helmet, and they're expensive, and you may need one and you don't have one. So what you do is you get 2 or 3 people that buy one that fits all your heads, and you share it, as long as you're not racing each other at the same time.
Race Quip's SA helmets start at $220.
Yeah, so $220, expect that. It's not really that bad. Put it this way, compare it to your car. I know you guys what you spend on your cars, so
Sure.
This equipment is safe. You're always going to use it. It's always going to need it. I got like 4 helmets, and the ones that I don't use, they look awesome in your man cave when you're done with them. So if you come here, I don't want you to worry about you don't have the right stuff. If you come here, there's somebody here that you can get stuff and it's really easy. I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you. And we've seen the mom and pops have been doing it for a long time. They have the motorhome, and so I wanted to talk to somebody who relatively new. Open trailer, pickup truck that they probably drive every day, and looks like they basically have a pretty streetable car with a lot of safety modifications, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
That they need to be able to race it with, some structural modifications to make sure it doesn't blow up when you're driving it and roll.
That's the plan.
And what's your name, sir? I'm Sean.
Sean, I'm John McGowan.
Hey John, how you doing? And where are you out of?
I'm out of Tampa.
Okay, so you're close by. So tell me a little bit about, am I close to, this is, I don't know if it's new, but maybe it's just not something you put a lot of money into because it's just fun.
Well, you put as much money as you can.
Right.
I mean, racing is expensive no matter what you do.
Right.
When I was in my 20s, I raced competitive motorcycles.
Okay, so you had it in the blood.
Oh yeah, and then I had to give it all up for marriage and children.
Right.
And then, as you can look around here, the majority of people here are my age.
Right,
you know,
same as me, 55.
Exactly, I'm 60, and
So spending the kids' inheritance, because...
quite literally. Quite literally. Well, I shouldn't say that. No, but I mean, I've been blessed my whole life, and things are good.
Right.
And now that my kids are grown and gone, and everything, I have an accepting wife, and
there you
so
go.
I just kind of work on a minimal level.
Enjoy cars. You need to be on the road race tonight. Enjoy cars. Too good.
That happens a lot at racetracks, just so you know. It's like high school. Every now and again, somebody has to hear themselves on the loudspeaker.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
No, that's not a problem.
So, how long you been doing it then?
This is my second full year in SCCA.
Oh. It's just a little
something.
dragonfly.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
second year, and I've been in 3 years. I run on a couple of jam car teams as well. You know, the long endurance race team stuff.
So how did you go to classes for this? I know you said you motorcycle race, so how did that transfer here as far as getting the certification?
Well, okay, and I'll tell you, this is the trick. You got to take your wife into it slowly. So. So I've always been a fan of Mazda 3s. I've had 5 or 6 of them as street cars for driving. So I said, well, Amy, I'm just going to buy a car so I can do autocrossing.
Right.
Which is probably the most boring kind of racing I've ever done.
But it's a great beginner thing.
It's a great beginner thing, but anyways.
Well, let's, real quick, for those of you who are watching this who don't know what that is, they set up cones and you basically get timed by how you get through the course without knocking over the cones, and you get a penalty for every cone.
In a parking lot.
In a parking lot, or sometimes on an old airport or something in your neighborhood.
Exactly. So you start with that, and then you think, well, I used to love going a lot faster than this. So then you start doing some track days.
Right.
And the performance driving group that operates out of here does a phenomenal job. You can get and your first time you have an instructor, really helps you get up to speed. And then that kind of takes you to that, and then the next thing is you're about putting a cage in your car and you're doing all that. And then I went to the Lucas Oil Drivers Academy here as well in order to get my credentials to get my SCCA license.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm still doing champ car racing and whatnot. And it's just all worked out really well.
And like I said, this is something where you don't, if you've got a truck or a van or an SUV that has towing capacity, probably not a Mazda 3, maybe, I don't know what their towing capacity is, but
no
but you need something that could tow. You can even rent a trailer for the weekend. You can rent them.
I rented for 2 years from U-Haul.
Yeah, and I did that. If you look on some of the pictures online behind my motorhome, occasionally I would rent a U-Haul trailer.
Exactly.
So, and if we look at this car, I mean, obviously it looks stock. It's not really stock. It's got modifications, it's got different tires, it's got the safety modifications. A lot of the interior of this is out, but it's not a Porsche. It's not a Viper. It's not, you know, some kind of unlimited something. It's
but it still goes fast enough to scare you.
It does. and on this course, because we all know this is a bumpy course, you might only get up to maybe 120 a couple times. Most time you're about 55 to 80.
correct.
In
yeah.
that,
Well, this is about 116, 117 here. We ran Daytona a couple weeks ago, and it was about 131 off
especially
the bank.
when you get up on the bank, which is
right.
really fun.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's a great place to, if you got the extra money, it's way better than betting it on football. So, and it's way cheaper than a boat.
Yes.
I will tell you this much. And the best thing is, if this breaks down, you just call the tow truck guy. He brings it back to your trailer. You're not stuck out at sea and down here. So.
Yep, exactly.
But so I'm glad. So have you been able to? Did you do 2 runs today, or
well, we did a practice, and then we had a very abbreviated qualifying because somebody spun off, and then we sat in the pits, and,
right.
and they just flagged us. So we got about 3 laps in. But tomorrow we have 2 sprint races.
And it looks like, I mean, compared to the last couple of days here, the weather today is just perfect. It's hot.
Well, perfect depends on your perspective. So. When you're the only front-wheel drive car in the class,
then rain is good.
You want it to rain, because I love it.
Now, do you have rain racing tires right there?
Well, they're
or they're just
treaded 200 class tires.
Right.
But those things work phenomenal in the rain. A year ago, I was here and took pole in the rain, and then of course it dried out. So
yeah,
these damn Miatas get you. But
they've had these guys start their engines. It's about 90 degrees out right now, which is why you're seeing them hold the umbrellas over the heads of the guys that are in the open cockpit cars. Got a nice Porsche there. I love the old Volkswagen Jetta. I think it's a Volkswagen Jetta. It might have been a Volkswagen Rabbit. I don't even know. But whatever this is, they cut the top off and put some stickers on it, and that's it. All right, guys, so we're looking around, and I stopped and I saw this car, which we're gonna meet the driver and the owners and the people that work on it in a second, but there's different classes here. So we saw the open wheel class, and like I said, you guys can do this. A lot of these cars, I mean, you know, some are more expensive than others, and so we're gonna find out who drives this, what it is, and maybe give us some ideas of how he got into this. So I'm Sean. How you doing?
Hey, good, Sean.
And your name?
Kip Van Steenberg.
Kip Van Steenberg. And
John Hainsworth.
John Hainsworth. And owners, drivers.
Owner. He's a 2-time SCCA national champion.
Okay.
And he's letting me drive his car next month in Indianapolis in hopes that I can achieve the same.
Nice, nice. So you guys are this full time for you?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm retired, so I guess in a way it is. I play with cars all day.
Okay.
But I have a 944 S2 Porsche that I race, and I've raced that in EP.
So you know the AutoQuest, you know Amy, and you know Gavin, Amy, the AutoQuest? Yeah, Gavin passed away. That's who taught me how to drive.
Okay.
So.
And you know, that car I've been campaigning in EP, and it's no longer competitive in EP. And so I built this car in EP, and I moved that one to a class we call STU.
Okay.
And so I'll be racing that at Indy in the runoffs. And John, my friend here, has agreed to run my E-production car, the 914-6, which is this one.
Which is this one.
It's a 1970 914-6.
So that's what it started out as.
Well, it's still that. Production-based cars, you can do a lot of modification to them and everything, but they're not, you put roll cages in them, but they're not a tubular chassis. They are the actual chassis.
So it's a car.
It's a car.
So somebody goes and finds one that's old in a junkyard behind somebody's house or something like that.
And chances are, if you get one of those, you're going to have to find it in a junkyard or something.
Right, but you find something like this, you don't have to worry about rebuilding the frame or anything. This isn't NASCAR. I mean, reinforcing or restoring. But you're not gonna make a tubular chassis. You don't have to be NASCAR with a big shop. You can do something like this in your garage. depending on how much money and time and money
SCCA
equals time.
is a great place to do that. I mean, they've got all kinds of classes for all kinds of cars, and that's where you can take a production-based car like this, and it's mixed with all kinds of cars. Same things. I mean, we've got everything from BMW Z3s to Triumph TR8s.
And this is a vintage weekend here, right?
No,
I thought that because it was.
It's a regional weekend.
Oh, it's a regional
Yep.
because it had vintage on the website, so I didn't know.
That's
if it was a weekend.
SCCA has a vintage class too.
Right. I remember the
We can
accident
run it.
here.
You can just about run any car in SCCA
Right.
if you pick the class that should go in and that sort of
So
thing.
one of the things I know is there's no insurance, no matter what Dale Earnhardt sells on TV, Junior. There's no insurance on a racetrack. So when you take these out, talk about a little bit like, are people careful? Are you careful? Or is it you just that competitive spirit? You want to be careful and then...
Everybody's careful. You know, I used to laugh. My mother, when I'd go to a race, she used to say, "Now drive slow." I was thinking, that's not the object here, Mom. You know, it's you're careful, and the most important thing is to have skill level that matches your ride, the speed you want to obtain. Right. It's the old thing. I went into the corner and I ran out of talent.
And how did you get
wanna do
started?
that, so-
How did you get started?
I got started. I went. I sold my company and decided I wanted to keep my engineering skills up to speed and stuff. So I got into racing. And
did you go to a
building the
school?
car
Did
and all
you
that sort
just
of-
kind of work your way
I
up?
went to a Skip Barber school. I went to the Pano's school, Pano's experience, and rode it. And I took the 3-day driver's school at Robo.
Okay.
And I've instructed there several times since then.
And with you being a driver, you don't have a car.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, you have a car.
No,
I have a
he's
car.
decided to drive mine.
Okay, you're just being nice and...
I have a better chance of winning the national championship in Kip's car.
Okay.
My own. I mean, I have a very competitive car. It's not quite like this one.
Okay. And how'd you get started driving?
Oh, jeez. I think my first racing trophies from 1989, driving remote control cars. So I've always been into racing. And it wasn't until I graduated college and they built a racetrack about an hour south of me in New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. And that made it cost effective for me to start racing. So we have a great region, South Jersey region. Rented a car, went to driver school, and the rest is history. Been racing ever since, 13 years now.
All right, so he said something here, which I don't know if he's really a race, well, he's a driver. I don't know if he's an owner, because he said it made it cost effective. And I've been around cars since I've been 13 and raced in Englishtown, because I'm from outside of Philly. And there is nothing cost effective.
Cost effective is a relative term.
It's all relative.
And he'll tell you, he actually boiled it down to Smarty units.
Yes.
He created
a monetary unit. Our tire guy up in the Northeast was Bob Smarty. And anytime you had to make a significant racing purchase, we called a set of tires one Smarty. That was our monetary unit for racing. So when you're looking at buying a driver's suit, it's only half a Smarty. So.
Helmets are not as much anymore. Well, actually, the new ones are.
Yeah.
So,
but everything. By the way, when you pick a car, right, that determines a great deal of your cost. If you pick a Porsche, you're going to be putting some money into it. Just
how much money do you spend a gallon on fuel?
$13 a gallon.
My little RX-7.
And we have to use that fuel in that car.
I run on pump 93, so that's how I can afford to race. I'm a lowly government employee up in New Jersey.
So we're gonna look at all kinds of things. So you have big race teams that have big trucks. These guys are racing Porsches here, and they've got Charles Wick Racing. So you've got the large tractor trailers. So you got a team here. They've got 3 cars. They've got a shop. They probably bring everything in there, and then they stay in there. So, all right, guys. So I'm walking around, and I see this truck that says BSI Racing on it. We've already filmed some of the Miatas that were out on the track today. I don't know if these guys were it, so I came over, and I'm told that I'm getting introduced to the owner, one of the owners.
Yeah.
So I'm Sean.
Hi,
How you doing?
Sean. I'm Shay. Hi, everybody.
And this is Shay. And so
I don't have my camera voice on for you guys. I'm sorry. I got a raspy voice.
she's got her racing voice on.
Don't hold me accountable to this voice, okay?
So kind of tell me a little bit about this, because you seem to be, a lot of people here, they come with a U-Haul truck behind their landscaping vehicle, and they
then we
bring
show
their
up
car.
with a tractor trailer.
Yeah, so here you're like the big chief. So tell me a little bit how you guys got started, what's going on, or anything.
So actually the history kind of goes back like 15 years ago. So I'm an only child, and my father was in the military. He was in the Navy. He was a helicopter pilot. I saw that. That's why I'm mentioning it. I see that, Sean. So he was a helicopter pilot and rescue swimmer, and he did 22 years in the service. And my mom was a military mom, and we've always been a family of, you know, a tight family, and we did things together.
Right.
And we got into competitive water skiing, and so that was like our life for a long time. So a very competitive nature. And then just randomly, we did a NASCAR experience for fun, a Richard Petty NASCAR experience. And that one experience really...
Was it the ride or the drive?
Actually, I rode.
Okay.
I rode at Daytona. I was like 16, so I wasn't old enough to drive. I mean, actually, I was old enough to drive, but not one of them.
Right.
And so that fueled my, you know, what became a passion for motorsports, and we were like, hey, let's do this at whatever level we can.
Right.
So we started off in the SCCA, Sports Car Club of America, which is what we're doing here this weekend.
Right.
And from the bottom up, and I just kind of kept going. And then 15 years later, I have a 10-year professional career. I raced Pirelli World Challenge, which is now called SRO Americas. I raced in IMSA, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, national sanctioning body for professional sports car racing in the United States. Here at Sebring International Raceway, they do like the 12-hour.
Right.
So that's a big one here at this location. So I've done a bunch of that, and then I also went overseas and drove Formula 3 cars in a series called the W Series, which is a groundbreaking, like, $1 million prize, all-female class, which is really cool. So I have a racing background, and my family and I, we ran Shea Racing, which was kind of my brand. We ran a Honda team for a few years professionally, and then my family and I kind of got out of it. And anyway, so this business, BSI Racing, has actually been around for like 30 years, and it's specialized in these cars.
The Miatas.
The Miatas. Spec Miatas.
And Spec Miata is like the one that had, like, that's the most. If you looked at SCCA especially.
Yeah, like if you look on a race weekend, there's a shitload of these cars.
You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Miata somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the biggest national SCCA class in the country. So and on any given weekend, it's going to be big. It's going to be anywhere between 50 to 100 of these small 20 to 30-year-old Mazda Miatas.
Right.
And now we specialize in a 1999 NB Mazda Miata. And BSI I actually just purchased from the original owner. My husband and I, Nick Chorley and I, we purchased the business at the beginning of this year. And so it was an already established, you know, it has 40 plus cars in a 20,000 square foot facility. And
40 cars.
Yeah, we go.
Now, are they race-ready cars or just me? Okay, so they were 40.
Well, we in a variety. We specialize in the Mazda products, but we do you know, work with other manufacturers.
But they weren't like junk Miatas.
No,
we're
like, talking race cars. They
look
like
that's
this.
what I mean. They look like this. Okay.
And so so we're the new business owners of BSI, and we're having fun with it. And we race at the amateur level, the grassroots level, but we do it in a very professional manner. We're one of the best teams in the paddock, and we offer arrive and drive services. And like I actually just licensed one of the kids through SCCA.
So that's what I was about to say. If someone shows up, it's not like you guys are racing every one of these cars. It's you can come if you don't have a car, learn how to drive,
learn how to drive.
get your license.
I can teach you how to drive a manual, and I can teach you how to drive at the front of this pack.
And get certified, because most people don't realize that there is certifications by car types and
there's like a stepping stones to what you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can take somebody that,
unless your last name's Earnhardt.
yeah, then it's a little easier
then you
for
can
you.
get in. But other than that, if you're not Earnhardt already.
Yeah, but there's, you know, we can take somebody that is watching this YouTube channel,
Right.
and that says, I want to go do what Shay's doing, and so they can call us up, and I can start them from the bottom, and we can bring them to us.
Do you have a website you want to let everybody know?
Sure. It's bsiracing.com. And yeah, we're your Mazda, you know, go-to for anything amateur or professional racing. I also run a professional arm of the business, which is Hickson Motorsports, and we race in IMSA in the Mazda MX-5.
And what state are you based out of?
We're in Daytona Beach. We're about 15 minutes from the Speedway, and we travel nationally.
And here we're only about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think, from Daytona. Well, actually, probably more.
Probably 3 hours.
In my Corvette, it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, good for you. I'm in the semi, so it's like 3 hours.
3 hours. This will be the endurance race. They're lined up for an endurance race here. So it's going to be about 2 hours. It's going to be who lasts the longest. All right. So as I said, this is the start of the endurance race. Should last about 2 hours, or whatever car is left last. So what they do is you drive for 2 hours, as many laps as you have in 2 hours, that is the designated time. So that's what they do. Designated time is they run it for a specific number of time, a specific amount of time. So what they do is they run a specific amount of time, which in this case is 2 hours. How many laps you get done, you get done. Unless you're the last car, then you win automatically. There goes our pace car. And here we go. And in 90-degree heat, it's going to be hard. So it takes about 3 minutes at speed to go around. So here they come. You can hear them, and there they are. All right, so that's gonna do it from Sebring this Saturday. They're still racing. They still got another hour and a half. It's about 100 degrees. So in those cars, it's probably about 140 degrees. And we're gonna let them have their fun today. You can hear them going by. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of thing, please like. If you like watching all the videos, we have 155 other videos. Most are not on racing, most are cars, junkyards, barn finds, whatever else we could do that is automotive related, that is cool. So if you like this kind of thing, or you just want to check everything out, please subscribe. Subscribe doesn't cost anything, it's free. Just click that. If you want to know when the new videos go up, just click the button. So I appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. April, should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.